Last year was an amazing year for gaming. We had such games like Street Fighter 6, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so many other amazing games. Gaming has become such a big part of culture and is slowly becoming a huge pastime for millions of young people. It's never been a better time to get into gaming. And as a longtime gamer, it's amazing that wait, is that Lethal Company? Did you know that Lethal Company made $52 million last year and was the 9th best-selling game on Steam? Maybe you could have guessed that by its popularity. Did you know it was made by one person? Indie games are popping off like crazy right now, with the releases of Lethal Company and Palworld being the most notable new hits. I could go down a whole list from Pizza Tower to Bomber Cyberpunk, or the huge anticipation for Knight Silksong and Hades 2. But the real question is, why? Why are indie games doing so well right now? Let's look into it. There are a lot of AAA games that are really disappointing people right now. Almost every big game nowadays is filled with microtransactions or item shops or battle passes that I think people are starting to get tired of having constant advertisement shoved down their throats. Other games are released with a myriad of bugs and problems that seem lazy to the general gaming population. I don't want to come off as too much of a hater, because there's plenty of AAA games that I enjoy a lot. Heck, I still play Overwatch on a regular basis, which I know I should be ashamed of. And the new Pokemon is like a top 3 Pokemon game for me. Maybe I just have bad taste. What I'm trying to say is that so many games aren't cutting it for people, which is leaving a huge space for indie games to thrive. But the point of this video isn't to hate on big game corporations or anything. There are plenty of AAA games I'm enjoying or looking forward to right now. No, the point of this video is to say that so many indie games are absolutely killing it. I already brought it up, but Lethal Company was created by one Roblox dev named Zekers. Unless you've been living under a live streaming rock, you know this game has been hitting it big. I'm not sure how much of a profit Zekers has actually received for the game, but for a 21-year-old to get anywhere close to $52 million is life-changing. Lethal Company is incredibly simple, incredibly basic, and incredibly fun. It's a game that not only produces some of the funniest moments in recent gaming, but it's just a solid game that everyone can enjoy with their pals. I just tried the game with my friends, and it provides a co-op experience that I can't get anywhere else right now. It deserves all of the recognition it's receiving for being true shareable fun. Now, the next game I really want to look at is Palworld. While debatably not indie, the company that developed it is rather low profile. So for the sake of the video, I'll say that it's indie. If you have even heard of Palworld, you know that it's Pokemon with guns. That's what's really appealing about the game for so many people. And although I think that name doesn't do it justice, it's more like Ark with Pokemon, this has been enough to get people interested. And hopefully people are interested. Palworld has become the second highest peak players on Steam of all time, only losing to PUBG. I mean, the numbers Palworld is putting up are insanely high. The new Pokemon generation of Scarlet and Violet really disappointed a lot of people, which has been a constant ever since the stagnation from the 3DS era onwards. I mean, Pokemon is the #1 media franchise in the world, and this is their best. Again, that's not really my opinion, as I love the new games. But it's true that they can be doing a lot more than they have, and this anger has been growing and growing, which has left people wanting more from Pokemon. A darker, grittier look at the monster collecting world is much more interesting to the public that has been receiving basically the same story and vibe for the past 28 years. Personally, I don't even like Palworld that much, but it's given a breath of fresh air to the Pokemon fans who have been around for so long. Pokemon used to be such a big craze, and now it's still doing well, but doesn't have as much drive to be innovative as people buy the games no matter the quality. A spin on the game formula is something that fans have desired, and Palworld recognized that and made a product specifically tailored for those fans. Whether you like the game or not, it's succeeding because people want anything at this point, and I think the sales have shown that. We're at a point in gaming where indie games can be just as exciting as the big games. Hollow Knight is the top 5 game of all time for me, and the delay for Silksong eats at me like if there was little bugs under my skin. We had both Celeste and Hades nominated for the 2018 and 2020 Game Awards respectively. They didn't win, but just being a nominee is super impressive. Hades has its sequel planned to launch this year, with a lot of those fans anxiously waiting, and the Celeste developers have Earthblade coming up. Last year we had Dave the Diver, Sea of Stars, Pizza Tower, Viewfinder, Cocoon, Dredge, Bomber Cyberpunk, and Liza P, depending on who you ask, all release and gain massive audiences. People have been in love with indie games the past few years, and I hope the trend continues. It's always fun to see stories like Lethal Company and Palworld and realize that you don't need a $68 billion buyout to make a good game that people will love. I hope to see more and more indie games get developed, as some of them are my favorite games. All the passion and work from smaller teams make me really glad that they're able to make something that millions of people can enjoy without a lot of funding. So go out and buy Hollow Knight, put Celeste on your wish list, and keep playing indie games. I'll see you next time. Later.